Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So now we've been decoding the Bible changes, extractions, and now we've got our extraction letters to go through forwards and backwards in finance. We've got them to go in genetics. We got them to go in chemicals. We got them to go in medical. We got them to go in technology, and we got them to go in research and research groups. That's one category, just research in general, research groups. And now we're down to random hits. We're looking for new stuff, looking for stuff that may not have come up during the, previous searches. And another reason we do this is to see if another pattern emerges if we need another category. So, and it's been slow uploads, and that's kind of got my motivation factor down a little bit. I had this ready last night, but didn't feel like dealing with the upload. So I didn't even write it down. And so, but I will provide a link in the description to where we correctly extract these. And you have INWFAYONELRSPASEDBHWHTESPASAGAINSTS. Notice AI. DBRMATCOUCHWINKINSBOTTL. Okay. We've already gone through most, but now we're going to do random. So, here we go. We start with INW, and the most interesting thing to me was airnav.com. KINW, Winslow Lindbergh Regional Airport, Winslow, Arizona. Well, we have a K in this search. Remember? WINKIN. All right. So, and then if you go down here, FAA identifier INW. All right. Well, actually, you got KIN and INW at once in KINW. So that's pretty interesting. And a computer could certainly do that. And with this many letters, guys, a computer this is a big code. So this would be a lot that they could get. So, oh, by the way, I didn't do it. Should have done it. Will do it. These are the extractions. If you want to pause it, take a minute, write them down, and follow along. You'll have to excuse me on that. But they start here, INWF, and they come down here. So anyway, so if you move on from that, you wind up with NWF, and of course, National Wildlife Federation comes up again. But I'm looking for something else. We've already got them circled. So I scrolled down several pages and found NWF Advisory Group, and they are Financial Planning and Wealth Management Team. All right. So I don't think I have to get much more involved than that. And if you move on from that, you wind up with AYO, which ends up being AYO Technology Solutions United. The AYO group empowers, organizations across Africa through technology. We solve real-world business challenges through strategic partnerships that are helping to shape the future of the continent. Our services and offerings elevate processes, enrich experiences, and fuel growth. So we have, in fact, had in some of our early searches, we had African health organizations and stuff come up before. Now, this is technology, Solutions United, but they are in Africa now. Again, like I said, we've had that before, so I find that to be a little bit interesting. And excuse me, guys, 1 second, I gotta pause this. Pardon me for that. There was a bit of a distraction that was breaking my concentration a little bit. So, and this is a lot of material, really. Anyway, if you move on from AYO, you end up with NEL. And NEL ends up being NPCC Engineering Private Limited. NELL. Or NEL, excuse me. NEL, NPCC Engineering Private Limited, NEL. And it's in Mumbai, India. NPCC Engineering is a wholly owned subsidiary of NPCC. Abu Dubai NEL was formed and incorporated initially as a joint venture between National Petroleum Construction Company and Abu Dubai Arcadia Shopping Limited, Mumbai, in 2007 until July 2015. Through the past 8 years, NEL has gained substantial recognition in the offshore oil and gas industry in India and GCC. All right, is capable and professional engineering company to provide design and engineer services for oil and gas upstream industries. Oil and gas, guys, we've had that before in this search. All right. And mind you, I'm just taking these forwards and backwards too. So, anyway, you got oil and gas going on there, and we've had it before, and we'll have it again in this search. If you move on from that, you wind up with RSP, which ends up being Regional Systems Plan. The RSP is a comprehensive planning report on system needs and the resource and transmission facilities needed to maintain the reliability of New England's power system over a 10-year horizon, while also accounting for market efficiencies and economic and environmental considerations. Developing an RSP at least once every 3 years is one of the ISO's responsibilities as regional transmission organization. All right, so there's that. Let's see, resource transmission facilities, power system. All right, so they deal with the New England region power system. All right, if you move on from that, you wind up with ASE, which obviously ASE mechanics. But if you get past that, you also, the more interesting thing to me is American Society of Echocardiography. Echocardiography. And they deal with cardiovascular ultrasound, which to me seems a lot more relevant, but the automotive thing is there as well. All right. So I'll provide the links, guys, in the description. So if you move on from that, you wind up with SDB, which ends up being SDB Core, Collaborative Resources. All right. For learning. So Collaborative Resources is an online community for learning and developmental biology. Developmental biology is what it deals with. All right. Well, imagine that. We have all sorts of biology stuff going on, right? But if you move on from that, you have HWH, and that ends up being the HWH Corporation. Look of the future. And what do they deal with? Motorized vehicle appliances. What? HWH. Oh, they sell stuff. They sell vehicle appliances. So they deal in technology. Vehicle technology. Well, you did have ASE, and now you got these guys, so maybe ASE is important, guys. I'll provide the ASE link, the ASE, the mechanics thing link, the automotive thing, because now you have these guys that deal with motorized vehicles. So, yeah, definitely interesting there. And we had the transportation hit before, right? Where they were studying the transportation. That seemed kind of irrelevant, but actually now maybe not so much. Look at all this other automotive stuff we're getting. So, yeah. But if you move on from that, you end up with ESPA, which ends up being Electronic Systems Professionals Alliance. The Electronic Systems Professional Alliance, ESPA, was created and established was created to establish industry recognized training and certification for entry level electronic systems. All right, so there's that. And if you move on from them, you end up with SSAG. And SSAG, the most interesting thing to me, winds up being SSAG Naval Postgraduate Program. Space Systems Academic Group, SSAG. Now, it's interesting to me because it's Navy, and we've had Navy hit before. But also you end up with SSA, Society of South Africa Geographers. You also have a SSAG summary for the SSA Global Technologies Incorporated. So SSA Global Technologies Incorporated. You also have Singapore Students Association of Germany. I don't know if that's relevant, but other things that I didn't know if they were relevant or not ended up being relevant seemingly now. And that's a page of stuff, guys. But yeah, you certainly get your share of things with that. And actually, maybe all that's relevant, guys. Maybe every single bit of it. Spousal Support Advisory Guidelines, also there. Department of Justice. So, Department of Justice. So, there's that. And you also have the Starshoot Auto Guider, SSAG, Orion Telescopes, Astrophotography, or Astrofakery. But moving on, and I'm not saying I don't believe in space at all. I'm saying that I know mostly everything they do is fake. It's pretty obvious. So I just don't get too excited when I see that stuff because I see so much fakery. So, anyway, moving on from that, you have AI. Oh, yeah, SSAG. And then you have AI, which ends up being artificial intelligence. You got pages of stuff on that. Pretty important. Probably all of it's important. But moving on, NSTS ends up being National Source Tracking System. National Source Tracking System, NSTS, is a major security initiative of the NRC. This highly secure, accessible, and easy to use computer system tracks high risk radioactive sources from the time they are manufactured or imported through the time of their disposal or export, or until they decay enough to no longer be of concern. So, all right, National Source Tracking System. And if you move on from that, you end up with DBRM, which ends up being Daybreak Oil and Gas Company Incorporated on OTC markets. You also end up with DBRM, stands for Database Request Module, and that is IBM. This is a traditional DBR or DB2 serialized representation of the SQL statements in a program. So that deals with database request module. That's probably pretty important. Database resource management, and that also is IBM, DBRM. DBRM, database request module again. So yeah, then you got your oil company, oil and gas company. So and remember, we had oil and gas just up there in that whatever it was, AYO was it? That dealt with the oil. I don't know that that was it, but oh, NEL, I believe, was what dealt with the oil. And here's some more oil and gas. And we had it in previous searches. So then if you move on from that, you have ATCO. And ATCO ends up being ATCO Group. And that is a gas industry company. Utilities, energy, structures and logistics technologies. ATCO Group. All right. All right. So I'll provide that link. And if you move on from that, you end up with UCHW. And that is British Tinnitus Association, UCHW Conventry. So they deal with tinnitus, patient's first appointment referral. So yeah, this deals with healthcare. All right, we've had that before. And if you move on from that, not much to say about that. It's just a healthcare thing. You can get HWI, which ends up being Harbison Walker International Incorporated, and every day around the world, HWI people and products stand up to the challenges and pressures of the everyday job. In 150 years, and for 150 years, we've served virtually every industry that needs refractories products to do its job. Refractories. So I should have looked that up, but I didn't. But they work with a lot of different industries. Virtually every industry that uses refractories. So don't know what those are. I'll probably look into that. But if you move on from that, you wind up with the NKI, which once again you do get Netherlands Cancer Institute, which we do have circled and we will run our numbers against. But you also end up with cell biology, NKI, Dutch Tech Center for Life Sciences. NKI Archive, Infrafrontier, Netherlands. That's Netherlands Cancer Institute. Oh, they talk about a genetically engineered mouse there, and embryonic stem cells. We've had those before. All right, I'll probably provide that link, and I will provide the cell biology NKI. Is that the national, or is that the Netherlands Cancer Institute as well? No, Dutch Tech Center for Life Sciences. So that is different. All right. So I'll provide both links, guys. And so if you move on from that, you end up with NSB, which ends up being Northfield Savings Bank, Nevada State Bank, and National Science Board. And probably among other things, but those were the most notable to me. You also have North Slope Borough, which is America's farthest north municipal government. Our borough encompasses an area of nearly 95,000 square miles. So that could be relevant. NSB is trains in Norway. So you have train infrastructure. NSB Bank, that's the bank. How about National Security Branch, FBI.gov? NSB. FBI created the National Security Branch, NSB, in September of 2005. Oh, in response to a presidential directive to establish National Security Services, or a National Security Service. Well, there you go. Excuse me for missing that. uh, uh, Security Branch. And we have to circle these guys because holy cow. These guys are, here you go. Another federal corporate organization. Let's put it that way. Because I'm going to quit calling it a government as because I saw a federal article the other day that says that the United States is a federal corporation. And it's not even a government, it's not even a country, it is a federal corporation. So here is a federal corporation branch, security branch. And the Navy is federal corporation, and the Army is federal corporation, and all that stuff that I said was government is federal corporation. All right. I don't have that link, but I saw the link, and I could get the link, but that's not the point of this video. So OTTL, Sebastian Otto Research, is what that ends up being, among other research works. But Sebastian Otto Research, Aarhus University, Otto. So that was your research. And I'm sure that you would have that that Johan, or that guy or gal, Johannes Otto would be in here somewhere if you continued scrolling, but we've already got that. Sebastian Otto looks like the new thing that looks fairly relevant. There are other things. Andreas Otto. Otto Eric FIDE chess profile. Players, arbiters, trainers. That deals with chess. Philip Otto. That's just Instagram stuff. But yeah, no, you're probably mostly looking at this Sebastian Otto. He's got research works. His research interests are in the areas of strategy as practice. Very good. And I'll provide that link. And that gets you through going forwards in random hits. And we have got some new stuff, and we found another branch of the federal corporation here. that we're going to go ahead and circle and run the numbers against as well. We got the Social Security, we got the Army, we got the Navy. Yeah, we got all that. And I was thinking we got another one somewhere along the way. Oh, the German one, of course, the German federal agency. And now this. So, I'm not sure if the German government's a federal corporation. Should look into that. But you got a German federal agency and a lot of federal corporation hits. So the federal corporations all over this search for whatever reason. Oh, Air Force. I knew I was missing one. Army, Navy, and Air Force in here. And now the NSB, National Security Branch. So that's going to be it for this one. That gets you through going forward in random hits. We'll come backwards in random hits. And probably do translations, but honestly, with 21 letters, that this thing could be translated in probably a millions of ways, and there's no way that. But maybe we'll get lucky. I mean, maybe we'll get lucky and see, find something interesting in it. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it. As far as after we come backwards in technology, we'll take a look at. I'll take a look at translations, and maybe we'll do a video on it, and maybe we won't, depending on what we find, and then we'll move on from there and convert all those letters to numbers and start running numbers through the categories again. And then we'll run the numbers against each thing that's circled and see what the numbers go back to and what the numbers don't go back to. We'll see if we can peg some potential quantum computer users. Got a funny feeling the federal corporation is gonna be there at the end. But we'll see. Maybe they're being calculated for all I know. Instead of doing the calculations, I guess that's the theory of why we run the numbers against them. That's in theory. If the numbers don't go back to them, in theory, they might be using the quantum network. So, but definitely, all of this stuff is definitely in these changes. You can run them yourself. And everything we're getting out of this is 100% coming out of these extractions here. Why they're there? Again, we think it's quantum network use. We think when someone calculates something, the computer leaves a code. And it leaves a code in reality in the form of minute changes. Is that all that's going on? Nope. We think shifts are happening too. There's a few other things coming into play. But this is part of it. And again, yeah, take what you want from it, but there it all is. So we'll come backwards next when we get around to it. So for now, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your day.